Hello, everyone. Hope everybody is doing good. My name is Sridevi Murugayan. I work as Principal Technologist for Coda Global based out of Chennai, India. I'm really excited to be part of this event where I would be talking about streaming analytics using AWS ecosystem. As part of my job role, I provide solutions focused on big data and analytics for global customers. With the increase in mobility and the reduced storage cost, the volume of data that we generate has increased tremendously. So this has gone multifold. So how do we harness the benefit of such a huge volume of data that we are collecting? Well, in this session, I am going to talk about a very simple use case where we ingest streaming data, passes them into one of our database, which can be further analyzed and can help us with the which can help us with the business and infrastructure needs of the future. Without any delay, let's get started with the session. The agenda for the day. So I'll be introducing you to AWS streaming services, ideally the Kinesis family, followed by a demo. So during the demo, I'll be taking a sample use case that we implemented for a customer, but it is a trimmed down version because the real use case was huge. It had a lot of components. But for the demo, I'm just going to focus on how did we ingest the streaming data and a simple persistence to Redshift without any transformation. Well, before I start the Kinesis itself, I just wanted to give a very brief introduction to analytics and streaming. So what is analytics? So analytics is the discovery, interpretation, and identification of meaningful patterns in data. So you collect data from different sources. You collect data from your sales team, your marketing team, your users. So there are so much of data that you collect from various streams. So how do you correlate all of these data and identify some meaningful patterns in the data? This is done as part of your analytics. The outcome of analytics should either help address your future business needs or your future technical needs or your future infrastructure needs of the company. Analytics itself comes in 4 different flavors. So you have descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. Let me take a few seconds to talk about each of these. So what is descriptive analytics? Let's take a scenario where you have a sales projection for a year. So you are right now in the 5th month of this 2021. And I assume you have a 12 million target for this entire year. Assuming at a 1 million run rate. Now we are in month 5. So you are just going and analyzing what is your sales number as of this month. And that will become your descriptive analytics. Just go understand what is the number. So what has happened so far. So that is descriptive analytics. And then assume that you are now 4 million instead of 5 million. Then you should understand why it is 4 million than 5 million, right? So that analysis will come as part of your diagnostic analysis. So you have the data. So you just go try and understand if there is a competitive marketing product that has been introduced sometime this year, or there is a problem with the sales team, problem with the production team. So that analysis with the availability of the data is called diagnostic analytics. And these two are reactive. So we have already passed the time, and now what we are doing is with the help of the data, we are trying to understand what has happened. And the next two forms of analytics are prescriptive and predictive analytics. They are reactive. So these two analytics require some ML models to be developed, and it is more of your prediction, right? So first is predictive analytics, where with the current run rate, with however we are performing now, if we just proceed in the same trend, what will be our sales number? So that will become part of your predictive analytics. So there is no major change. It's just understanding what will be your number. For example, instead of 12 million, your predictive analytics may say you'll be achieving 10 million at this run rate. So that is predictive analytics. And the last form is prescriptive analytics, where you'll find the recommendations. So where your system will give you some advices or recommendations that you have to follow to make it the 12 million, make it achieve your target. So that is prescriptive analytics. So these two, predictive and prescriptive, will become part of proactive analytics. And what is streaming? Streaming is data that is generated continuously by thousands of data sources, thousands and millions of data sources, all your gaming data, IoT data, clickstream data. So all of these are streaming data. They are generated continuously by millions and millions of data sources. And they are generally event or micro batch driven. So some of the sample examples are, so you have your mobile apps, you have the clickstream logs, the application logs, the metering records on your home system, so all your sensors and the smart building devices. All right, so this is a generic AWS ecosystem for analytics. This is not specific to streaming, but in general, this picture depicts the majority of services that is used in your analytics platform. So generally, an analytics platform pipeline will have a data ingestion phase, a storage phase, a transformation phase, and a visualization phase. So as part of data ingestion, AWS provides certain set of services that can be used for ingesting your data into your system. So AWS Snowball is one of the data ingestion services which can transfer your device data from on-prem to cloud. Kinesis Data Firehose is for streaming data. A Direct Connect is for establishing your direct connection with your data center to the AWS, and then you have data migration service to pull your on-prem data to cloud, or from other cloud to AWS cloud, or AWS cloud to cloud itself. And then you also have storage gateway. And next is the central storage, which is S3. So S3 is the storage for majority of the analytics system. So you put all the data, all incoming data, structured and structured, semi-structured data. So all data in its raw form goes into S3, which will be then streamlined and will be enriching it with whatever metadata is required to make it a full data. So your central storage is generally S3 for any analytics system. And then third part is your transformation, and the fourth is your serving. So for transformation, we generally use Amazon EMR and Glue. Both of them have different use cases. So based on your needs, we can go with one of them. And Athena is your interactive SQL engine to query your S3 bucket directly. And Kinesis is your streaming service, which will be diving deep in the session. Elasticsearch is for a search service. And then the next box is more on the database services. So we have Amazon Redshift for data warehouse needs, DynamoDB for NoSQL needs, Amazon Neptune for graph database, and RDS for relational database. On the visualization front, AWS provides a service called Amazon QuickSight, where you can generate dashboards for your use cases. So for the demo today, I'll be focusing on the Kinesis, bit of Redshift, QuickSight, and S3. All right. So what is Kinesis? So Kinesis itself, right? It's not single service, it's a family of services. So Kinesis has 4 different services. You have Kinesis Streams, Kinesis Firehose, Kinesis Analytics, and Kinesis Video Streams. The purpose of Kinesis Streams, or the Kinesis itself, is to collect, process, and analyze real-time streaming data from other sources. So it is real-time, it is fully managed, and it is scalable. All the services are real-time, fully managed, and scalable. And typical use cases are your log and data processing, real-time data analytics, real-time metric analysis, and complex stream processing. All of these are for Kinesis Streams, Firehose, and Analytics. For Kinesis Video Streams, you have real-time video processing. I'll just talk about each of these service for a couple of seconds, and then we'll move on to the demo. So what is Kinesis Streams? Kinesis Streams is primarily for technical developers. So this is for people who are interested to build custom applications on your streaming. So you have a lot of streaming data coming from your sources, and you want to do real-time on-the-spot transformation and persist into your data store or do some visualization, then you go for Kinesis Streams. So your Kinesis Data Analytics, your Kinesis Firehose, EC2, Lambda can directly connect to your Kinesis data streams using the libraries. You can use either Kinesis client library, or you can use Boto3 or SDKs to connect to Kinesis data streams, and you can ingest the data, do your processing on top of the data. So ideally, this is for technical developers who write code. This is for custom applications that is required to that business needs for analyzing your data. So this is a high-level architecture of your Kinesis streams. Assume Kinesis streams has a big pipe which has a lot of smaller pipes. Okay, so each small pipe is called a shard. And the streams, the only configuration that you provide when you create your Kinesis streams is the number of shards. So shards is uniquely identified group of data records. So each shard has a group of data records, and the number of shards is dependent on your use case, dependent on your business case, right? So each shard has a write capacity. So you can write to a shard at the rate of 1 MB per second, and you can read from the shard at the rate of 2 MB per second. Or there is another way as well. So you can write at the rate of 1000 records per second. If it goes beyond 1 MB, then it will just limit the number of records, and the read rate of 5 transactions per second. So the first thing you have to identify when you start using your streams is what is your input rate, what is your input rate, and what is your output rate. So based on that, you have to configure the number of shards that you need for your streams. Streams also provides you a small calculator when you create streams, where you can enter your data and it will give you a recommendation on the number of shards. And if you want to increase the number of shards based on your business needs, you can definitely do that. And that process is called resharding. So resharding is a process where you split the shard or merge the shard based on your business requirements. And the default retention period of a shard is 24 hours, but you can increase it up to 365 days based on your business needs. So Kinesis Streams has the capability of persistence. So you can persist the data and you can start processing from the point where you want to. So that you will have this bookmarking, and you can just process the data based on your needs. And there is a partition key also that you can that you have to define when you push data to streams. And this partition key is used to group the data as we do with any other partition keys. So from once data comes through the shard, then your EC2 instance or your Lambda can consume the data, and you have called Kinesis client connectors, which can connector libraries, which can connect your data from the processed EC2 instance to other consumers like S3, DynamoDB, Redshift, EMR, and Firehose. So what is a Firehose? So what is the difference between Kinesis Streams and Firehose? So Firehose is for all developers and data scientists. Here, there is no application code that is required, and there is a definite set of data sources that is already available for the data to be persisted. So if you connect, if you push data to Firehose, Firehose can directly post your data to Amazon S3, Redshift, Elasticsearch Service, HTTP endpoint, and some of the third-party services like Splunk, Datadog, etc. So here there is no code needed. All you have to do is configure Kinesis Firehose, the source, the format, the target, and your compression and your buffering. So a lot of configuration that you have to do on Kinesis Data Firehose, but there is no code required. All you have to do is just do the configuration, and you can see the data in your target. So here there is zero administration, and it scales up and down based on the needs. So there is a fully managed service, and there is no persistence. So if you need persistence, if you have a business requirement that you will need to process data for the previous day or previous week, then it's better to go with streams. Otherwise, you can use Firehose. Firehose is real time, and you have definite data sources that can be directly connected to the Firehose. The third service is your data analytics. This is for all developers and data scientists. If you want to do a real SQL on the data for your aggregation, real-time data, right? So you have data streaming from streams or Firehose. Then you can connect your Kinesis data analytics to the streams and Firehose, and you can do real-time aggregation. So you can have windowing functions or aggregation functions on top of the data itself, and you can then process the data to either Redshift, or you can connect to the visualization tool and see the data. So instead of you having some other engine process the data and then process the data, then connect to another visualization tool, Here, this Kinesis data analytics help us to run real-time SQL queries for visualization and alerts. You can also have the alerts mechanism filtered in. So you can just go through the data, understand how the data is processing. Is the data is for every 5 minutes, if we are expecting 100,000 records, and if you are getting only 10,000 records, then you can directly send alerts using this service. So this is either SQL based or Java based queries that you can write on Kinesis data analytics service. The last service is Kinesis video streams. So video streams is used to securely ingest and process video and audio streams for analytics and machine learning. So you can use this video streams with recognition, and you can identify the phases and a lot of other machine learning algorithms that you can use with an Kinesis video streams for your data processing. All right, so let me summarize. So Kinesis family has 4 services: Kinesis Streams, Firehose, Kinesis Analytics, and Kinesis Video Streams. Kinesis Streams is primarily for developers who want to write custom application, and if there is a business need, the data has to be persisted, then we have to go with Kinesis Streams. And Kinesis Firehose comes with a predefined set of targets where you can persist your data. The targets include S3, Redshift, Elasticsearch, Splunk, Datadog, etc. And Kinesis data analytics is for real-time data analytics on your streaming data. So you have so much of streaming data, and if you want to do some aggregation, some windowing, some error alerting, so you can use Kinesis data analytics. And the last service is Kinesis video streams. So video streams is for analyzing your video streaming data for analytics and deriving some meaningful insights from the analytics from the video streams. Okay, before I move on to the demo, I just wanted to talk about a reference architecture. This is one of the real-time use case, but a part of it, it's not a full version, it's a trimmed down version. So where we'll be getting records from gaming devices. So you have millions of gaming devices, and you'll get data from the devices to streams. So from streams, we write the data to Kinesis Firehose, and Kinesis Firehose persists into S3. This is for raw data ingestion in case of error path, right? So if you have a failure and if you want to reprocess the data, then we persist the raw data into Amazon S3 through Firehose. And the actual transformation happens through EMR. So we write a custom code on EMR. So Elastic MapReduce is another AWS service used for transformation. So we read from Kinesis streams using KCL, and we transform the data. So there are a lot of transformations that any business will require. So we use EMR to do all of the transformations. We use metadata lookup from S3, and we use Spark on EMR, and then we persist the transform data to Redshift. And then the visualization part is your Amazon QuickSight. So your real-time streaming data metrics will be available on Amazon QuickSight using this NTR model. So this is one of the use cases that we implemented for a gaming industry. So this will give the number of users currently playing, people stuck in one level. So how many people are not moving on to the next level from the same level? Is some level very difficult? And there are a lot of other metrics that you can derive from the transform data, which the business needs to understand how they can improve the gaming experience of the customers. So for the demo today, I'm going to take a very, very simple version where I'll be pushing some simulated record to Kinesis streams. And from Kinesis streams, I'll have 2 different Kinesis Firehose. So one Firehose will read the raw data, write it to S3. The other Firehose is going to persist the data to Redshift. And then we'll have Amazon QuickSight connect to Redshift, and we can see some visualization. All right. So let me share my AWS console. Okay. So before I start, I just wanted to show the number of records we have in the database. So this is one of the Kinesis QuickSight dashboard that I've generated for the count of records. So right now we have 200 records. This is my testing record. So during the demo, I'll be pushing 100 more records, and we can see how this flows through the entire process. And this is another QuickSight dashboard where we have the data by split and some of the visualization techniques. Okay, so before I start, I'll just show you how to create a stream and how to create a Kinesis Firehose. So this is your Kinesis service. So under Kinesis service, you have data streams and delivery streams. And today we'll be talking about these two. So data stream, I'm going to create a Kinesis stream here. So create data stream. So I'm just going to give it a name, test stream. And then you have the small utility called shared estimator, where if you know the write capacity and the read capacity, you can use those value and define the number of shards that you need for your requirements. For now, I'm just going to add one shard. So with one shard, you will have 1 MB per second or 1000 data records per second and a read rate of 2 MB per second. So all you have to do is just give this. That's it. No, you just give the number of shards you need for your stream and your stream will be ready. So it takes a while for the streams to get ready. So this is the stream that I've created for the demo. This is ticker streams. So I've configured it. This has a default of 1 day retention. And if you see the configuration, you have, I've created with one shard. And if you want to have encryption, you can configure a server-side encryption using KMS. And the data retention period, I've let it as default, but you can increase it up to 365 days. And if you want enhanced shard level metrics, you can configure that as well here. And on the monitoring, you'll see a lot of stream information here. So you have the get rate, you have the put rate. So this is the incoming data. So the volume of data that is coming through the streams, the put record, the number of put record, the incoming data count, and then you also have the throttling read throughput exceeded error and write throughput exceeded. So you can just monitor these pages and see if there are any throttling errors that's happening as we post data to the streams. Okay, this actually comes very, very handy when you start in your real-time application. So you can just monitor the errors and you'll see a lot more information from this monitoring page itself. And the next configuration is delivery streams. So this is your Firehose. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new Firehose. So this is test Firehose. So it can have two different sources. You can either directly put to Firehose using SDKs, or you can write your custom code, or it can consume from a data stream. So right now I'm just going to use a test stream as my source. So whatever data comes to test stream will be streaming in here. And the next step is, if you want to do a data transformation, you can enable it here. So if you want to do it, you have to create a Lambda function that you want to transform the data to and map it here, so that your data will be transformed every time it reaches the Firehose, and from Firehose it will transform the data and then write to your target. And then you can also do a format conversion using Parquet or ORC. So here it internally uses Glue. So you have to configure Glue for this transformation if you want to. And then these are your targets. So you have S3, Redshift, Elasticsearch, HTTP endpoint, and third-party service providers. So if you see, these are your third-party service providers that are supported. So first I'll talk about S3. So S3, if you select S3 as your target, then you have to provide S3 bucket, your target S3 bucket here, and then you have to provide a prefix. Okay, so for example, I'll just take one of these samples here, and then I give test. And raw, and this is error. Okay, and then the next is you have a buffer size and buffer interval. So this defines a volume of data that you'll buffer before you process to S3, right? So this can be minimum of 1 MB or 60 seconds. So your data will not go to S3 until your size reaches 1 MB or it is 60 seconds. So this is why, Kinesis Firehose is called near real time. This is not 100% real time. So if your data volume input is 1 MB per second, then maybe you will see the record immediately. Otherwise, you will have a buffering time. And then you also have S3 compression and encryption. You can enable if required. And then your IAM role. And if you click on next, you'll be able to create your stream. And if you select, this is all for S3, and if you select Amazon Redshift as your target, you have to provide your cluster. So you have to select whatever Redshift cluster you want to connect to, and then username, password, the database, the table name. And what Kinesis Firehose does is it will store your data to intermediate S3 bucket. So you have to store it in an intermediate S3 bucket, and Amazon Redshift copy command will be executed on the data once the data is stored in S3. So internally, right, even if you have Redshift as a target, what happens is your data is persisted into S3, and from S3, a copy command is executed and data is copied into your Redshift. So if you want any additional parameters, you can just add your parameters here. Okay, so maybe I'll show my Redshift configurations quickly. So your Redshift database. So this is my Redshift. So this is my bucket. This is my data. This is my folder in the S3. And then this is a copy command that would be executed. So copy ticker data. This is my Redshift table, and this is my S3 path. And I've given my S3 JSON structure and the region here. All right. So we'll get started with the demo. So this is a sample simulator. So what I'm doing is I'm loading Boto3 libraries, and I'm writing to ticker stream. So this is the stream that I have already created. So this is the stream I'm writing to. And I'm just doing a put record to the stream, and the data would be this data. So I'm just generating some random data with a ticker and price, and I'm posting this data to the stream. So if you see this will post 100 records with a sleep time of 1. So you'll see 100 records after I run this source, right? So I'll just execute this. So it is now posting data to my streams. So what happens is, right, you have connected to streams, and I have a Firehose, the raw data Firehose, which is going to write this data to this folder. So this is my ticker raw data folder that I created in S3, where I'll be writing the data to S3 directly. So if you go to S3, so this is my ticker raw data. You see here, you'll see the data directly persisted into your S3. So if you have used compression, then the data would be compressed, or if you have applied transformation, the data would be transformed here. So I'm just going to do a simple query. And if you see, whatever data I'm pushing is landing here. So this is the raw data. So you're not doing any transformation. What I'm doing is I'm just persisting the raw data into this folder, and S3 and S3 is just storing it. So in case if you want to do a failure processing, retry, then you can just go to this data and you can start processing from there. I've also configured another data Firehose called Redshift. So here, if you see, I've connected to this Redshift, right? So copy ticker data from this folder. So ticker data is the name of my Redshift database. So, so this is my Redshift database. So right now it has 248 records. So I pushed 100 records. So it will be 300 by the time we finish this demo. So if you see the record, so this is the record. So whatever data I'm pushing in from the code is landing into the Redshift. So what happens internally is your Kinesis Firehose writes the data to this Redshift data folder. This is the intermediate folder that I configured when I created the Firehose. So here, if you see, you will see the data landing in here, right? So this data will then be copied to Redshift. So that is what the command you see here. So this copy command would be executed after your buffer time or after the size reaches 1 MB, and it will be persisted into Redshift. And the final part is I've created some QuickSight dashboards for the data from Redshift. So this is the count. So this is a custom SQL on QuickSight, so which is going to pull the count of records. And this is some analytics. So here I have created some custom dashboards. So now it is 296. We have 4 more records to reach here. And here, if you see, this is a count of records by ticker. So far, how many records have we generated by ticker? And then this is sum of price by ticker. And then this is a count by event time. So these are the 3 fields that we have: event time, day, price, and ticker. So this I have aggregated by minute, and you can aggregate by hour or day, however you want, right? So you can change this. Let's wait for this data to become 300. Let me see if the source is complete. Now, if you see, I pushed all 100 records, and I see all this has become 300 now. So all 100 records has reached Redshift, and this has the updated visualization. So this is aggregated by hour. So let me change it back to minute. So this is the number of records. So I've tried some samples since morning. So you see some spikes, but yeah, this is another. So there are a lot of custom things that you can do on QuickSight as well. So this is a very simple use case where I've not done a lot of transformations, but if you need to do transformation, you can either use EMR or Glue, or you can also do a transformation on your Firehose itself before you write using your Lambda functions. So it depends on your use cases and the requirements itself, right? So sometimes you want to do transformation on each, if you want real time, if you want the data to be transformed immediately, then I think you have to go for Lambda. But if you can wait, if you can give some 5 minutes or 1 minute interval, then you can do some aggregations on Lambda functions, on EMR or Glue, and you can persist it to your target functions. So that's it I had for the demo today, and I hope all of you had some learnings from this session. Please reach out to me if there are questions. I am sridevi.murugayan@linkedin.com. Ping me if you have any questions with any of the transformations, or if you have any questions on AWS in general related to data and big data and analytics, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.